Welcome, everyone. This is episode 3 of Chilling After Dark. My name's Anthony, and I have a local actress with me, Clare Thompson. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. I'm well. Been busy, but yeah, it's rather have something to do than nothing to do.
Yeah,
How about
exactly.
yourself?
Exactly. Oh, you keep on pausing.
All right now?
Oh, yeah, you're all right now.
Okay, I'm just going to move this over the other screen. So, I met you at the networking event that Mark Regan was holding. Is that correct?
Yes.
And how did you find that?
That was good. I always get a bit nervous, a little bit of anxiety before I go to any kind of events, especially when I'm walking in on my own and I don't know anyone. But I just had to bite the bullet and just saw a few. I did a little bit of research beforehand, so I had a look and seen what people look like. So I kind of knew what Mark and a few others look like. So I just went in there with my espresso martini, and I was like, yeah, hi. Bit awkward, but no, it was good.
I got there and went up to the bar and just said, "Oh, where's the networking event?" They said, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Oh, okay. I'll just wait for Mark to get there then." They knew nothing about it. So.
To be honest with you, I kind of did that as well. I was talking to the waitress person, and I was like, "Oh, where's the networking?" She was like, "Oh, just let me speak to the boss." But then I saw a heap of people just crowd, and I was like, "That must be it." So yeah, but it
wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't a lot of people there. It was good.
Yeah.
It was more intimate, and I think
it was really nice to actually meet people.
It was a chance
that were local. Yeah. So I was just saying there, it was nice to just meet people that were local that are doing things within the arts and just listen to what they what they're working on and what they're doing, and just connect, I guess, and just be yourself and just talk about something that you have in common. That was the aim, and it was really good. It was really nice.
And so, obviously, you're not from Australia. How long have you been here for?
So I've been here probably majority of my life now. So I'm nearly 44. So I came out when I was 22.
Okay.
I started acting in the UK. From a really young age, I wanted to be an actress. I grew up in a small town, which was really trade-based and steelworks based. So, you're either going to be a hairdresser, a beautician, or work in the steelworks. It was that kind of, job. But I knew that I wanted to be an actress. And I told, when I was at school, like we leave school at 16. So when I told my careers guidance counsellor that what I wanted to be, she was like, "Why don't you be a hairdresser?" I was like, nope. No, I do not want to do that. So I had a really great drama teacher at school who wrote me a beautiful letter to get me into a performing arts school. So I auditioned for a performing arts school and I got in. I didn't have the grades, but I got in because of my audition and the letter. And yes, I went to there for 2 years. So I finished when I was 18, got my diploma in performing arts. Then I went to university in Lancashire and I got my degree in performing arts. So I finished up there when I was 21 with a degree. I travelled. My brother lived in Sydney at the time. So I travelled Australia, went back to England, realised there's not much opportunity for me there, especially in the north of England. And there wasn't a lot being filmed really in the north in the 80s, 90s. So it was all London based. So yeah, then I came back and did my teaching qualification. So I got my DPed in teaching dance and drama. So that's how I ended up staying here. Yeah, so for the last 15 years I've been teaching.
Basically got you got a diploma in what you want to do, which is sort of like acting in the arts. You didn't go into sort of any other subject in teaching.
I knew dance and drama and performing arts, and the arts was for me from an early age when I was doing plays in my, well, we call it infant school, which is primary school, and I was getting all my friends together, writing all scripts down and performing in front of the teachers. So I knew from an early age that's what I wanted to do. Yeah.
And has that carried on to here? Are you finding you're getting the acting work that you thought, or obviously you still do teaching full time, but are you finding you're getting roles, or it's just a bit stagnant at the moment?
It's a bit stagnant at the moment. I always bring up my accent, and I think I mentioned that at the night that I have had a dialect coach to try and help me with the Aussie accent, and in my head, I feel like I take the mickey out of the Aussie accent because I'm like shrimp on the barbie and all that kind of stuff, and I don't want to do that. I want it to be as natural as possible. So I'm working on getting that Aussie accent because I don't find a lot of roles for English speaking in Australia. I could be wrong. I mean, unless I want to do like 10-pound poms or anything like that. I find that a bit difficult. I'm getting some extra work, which is great because I love being on set and I love watching other actors perform, and I love watching, you know, the lighting and the makeup artists and everyone that's involved, you know, and the directors and their conversations, and it's just great to be part of that and just to watch and see what they do as well.
Yeah, I don't think the accent matters that much because there's a lot of diverse multicultural actors here. You know, there's people from India, Singapore. There's, you know, not so much American, but there's lots of different people, and they're all in different films. So yeah, I think it's a case of I don't know if it's really beneficial. People trying to do Australian accents. From what I've gathered and from what I've seen lately is that a lot of films with just purely Australian actors in it don't tend to do too well. Unless they've got the bigger names like John Jarratt and guys like that. Yeah. So that's why you'll see a lot of films where Australians try to do American accents because they tend to people tend to want to watch them a bit more. Or my wife's watching a show on Netflix that's filmed in England, and I think it's called Missing You. It's a series or something. And so I think as far as that goes, it's yeah, it's not a big issue. And for me, I'm happy to send out, you know, casting calls or auditions to anybody and just give them a go. It's more a case of not so much even the look. There might be a specific look or age, but it's if they do the homework. Like I've had previous films where I've sent out like the script, say, a month before, and then when it comes to auditions, they still bring the script with them, and I know that they haven't taken it seriously enough. Whereas other people come in, they might not have the look or the feel, but they've put the effort in and done it. So I tend to reward them a bit. So I think it's more a case of, all right, you might get someone that's trained, but then they can also be a bit hard to work with as well because, you know, that they don't like sometimes to take direction and things. And so there's lots of factors to consider. So I don't think the accent's a big issue.
100%. Yeah, and I think as an actor as well, I get nervous before auditions, but my coach and I agree, like you've got to go in there and actually have fun with the audition, and you might be the best actor out there, but if you don't have the look as well, like with whatever they're trying to achieve, then you know it is what it is. And I think walking out of an audition and feeling good that you did the best that you can, but if you're not suitable for that role, you're not suitable for that role, and there's nothing you can do about it. You just got to keep on going, and I think, you know, it is a hard industry. Like you're up against a lot of people, so yeah, it is what it is, and you can't get down on yourself because of certain things.
Yeah, that's right. And Do you find having a coach helps?
I definitely do. I think it's helped me just even feel a bit more confident within myself and my ability. And then when we do film anything and I watch it back, at first it was a little bit cringy, but now I'm analysing it and I'm seeing what I can do better, and we're talking film. So I've learned a lot through having a coach as well.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm off to the UK in February to as executive producer for a film in Liverpool, but he's also asked me to act in a role. So I haven't acted since about 2016. So yeah, I've got to. Wow. I'm a bit nervous as well because it's got dialogue, and we don't have to do English accents or anything like that. But it's just a case of I've got to brush up on it and try and, because then if the one goes ahead in America in October next year, then I've got to get into shape because he wants me to like a bodyguard of somebody and there's some stunts.
Oh, okay.
And fight scenes and so.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Got to get your six pack on.
Well, it's hiding behind my keg at the moment, so that's fine.
Yeah. Everyone's got a six pack. It's just hidden. I know.
Yeah, that's right. So, are there any like particular genres that you prefer to make? I know a lot of people like comedy, but I'm more in the horror space, and it's not, I don't think horror's that big here in Perth. So,
yeah, I'm seeing so much horror at the moment just on social media. Just a lot of people are getting into that horror genre. Like I've been trained in more of a classical way. So like I was working with the Shakespeare Company in England, and we used to go from castles to castles and do reenactments, and so my background is very drama based. I do love like independent type of movies, ones that are probably a little bit bizarre as well. So definitely I've touched on a lot of things, and when I've done workshops, there's been a few actors that have run the workshops that say, oh, I can see you doing comedy, or I can see you being the police officer, or I can see you, so that is kind of my branding is probably like a strong of a lawyer or a police officer type of, like the Bill in England, that kind of or SCI, all these like SVU type of things or whatever. But I do like the drama, real, heartfelt. That's what I like to do. But again, that is a lot of energy that goes into that. So when you are playing them roles and you have to cry or you have to get there, you walk away and you're freaking exhausted.
Yeah.
You're tired. Because you're mentally just been a drug addict for the last whatever. So you're mentally like, oh. But definitely when you do comedy, you come away and you're a bit more happier. So I do like the drama.
But I think also it comes down to more my case with when you're producing a film. If you got, I guess it's not so bad if you're putting your own money into it, but if you got investors, you got to look at what's going to give you an ROI, and horror and faith-based films seem to be the most popular genre. There is some drama and action every now and then, but comedy seems to be towards the bottom, and I think it comes down to the fact that it's either trying to find actors that are funny or comedians and teach them to act, because it's one of those fine lines. I mean, I myself don't mind a bit of comedy, but I see a lot of people mix horror and comedy together, and I'm not sure if those two genres should mix, but everyone has their own preference. And like you were saying about being draining, the lead actress on the version, she had this, she could cry, but what she'd do is she'd put on a certain song that would trigger a certain memory. So she'd be sitting there for 5 minutes listening to the song, then she'd just cry. And she had that nearly 8 out of the 10 days that we were there. So she was, by the end of it, she was just ready to go to bed, and it was just every day on cue. And it was crazy. It was just But seeing people do that definitely brings the authenticity to it.
I'm definitely someone who, like you say, listening to music, you know, and I worked with my coach on a little horror piece, and putting the music on and just staring into space just got me in that mindset of I'm being possessed and I'm there, you know, and it definitely does help with things like that.
Mm-hmm. And are there any roles, like you said, like news reporter or lawyer or doctor? Is there any particular roles that that you like playing or prefer to play, or are there roles that you wouldn't take on if someone asked you?
I would take on anything as a challenge.
Yeah.
I always say it, like, comedy. I love watching comedy. I love Sandra Bullock, and I love watching her. Like, I mean, she's done so many different types of movies, so I kind of look at her as someone that I would want to kind of get to that level. So I would just take on anything really that I felt had a good story behind it.
Okay, nice.
And that can challenge me.
Because a lot of people get typecast. So there's some people here that might only get typecast as bad guys in films, but you know, some people can make a living from that. And whereas others want to expand, they want to, okay, I've been a bad guy in this one, I want to be a doctor, whatever it is. And I guess in a way it's okay, but sometimes it could maybe limit the roles that you get. So I guess if people do start looking at you as, okay, well, you'd be good at this role, maybe sometimes it's good just to stick to that particular role, and you know, you can carve yourself out a career to an extent doing that.
Yeah, and it's a hard industry, and we should be grateful for whatever opportunity comes available. And you know, people see me as a lawyer or a police officer and that kind of role, but if I end up playing that role for 5 movies, it's a blessing.
Yeah,
you know, there's some people out there that are not working, and then if I veer off, you know, and end up being, like I say, you know, someone in rehab or whatever it is, great. That's showing my acting skills, and there's no small actors. We're all actors.
Yeah.
So you just got to take what opportunity is given to you. And
so do you, as far as you said you've been an extra, do you feel that extras are important on set as well?
Oh, look, I can go on a little tangent, right? But I do think extras are so important, and I have seen extras get treated like dirt on some sets. You know, not even being able to use the same toilet, you know, you know, it's like we're back in the 50s, having to run to a new old building while you're peeing yourself, you know, because you can't use the same toilet as someone who might be a little bit higher up than you. But extras, like, create the scene. Everyone is part of this one story. Like, and I think I said that before, there's no small actors. Like, we all, okay, some people have wanted to be an actor for their entire life. Some have just done it because, my daughter's working on this, so I'll just come in and just do a bit of extra work. But for us that have done it for so long, before social media was a big, you know, thing out there, we love just being there and listening and watching and part of it and just meeting people. And I'm not going to run up to one of the famous actors and be like, can I have your autograph? No, we're there to do a job. I understand that. So yeah, extras are just as important. You never know, that extra could be that next star. Like,
exactly, you know, right.
Never know the moment.
And you know,
be nice to everyone.
We had a bunch of extras on Fear of the Mind. We had quite a few extras in a few other projects, and the only one thing that we had to sort of not implement, but was when it come time for like lunch or dinner, because sometimes the director and they'd hang back a little bit just to check stuff out before we have our break. We get there and there was no food, hardly any food left because the extras would eat it all. So we had to put into place that the director eats first and sort of thing. That was one of the things that we just sort of had to do. But that's the only time I've ever had to do anything like that, because obviously some of the actors might be chatting with the director about certain scenes or the next one coming up. Then they go to have their food and there's no food left because everyone else is sort of bogged in. So there is, if you do look it up, there is in Hollywood, where there is a hierarchy. It's like all the producer, director, all that eat first and all the main cast. But I don't like to do that. People can eat when they want, but as long as there's enough to go around for everybody. But that's the only time we've had to sort of put anything into place like that. And it's not being mean to anyone. It's just making sure that everybody gets fed properly.
Yeah, and you would think that everyone would have manners there and know that, there's, I don't know, 5 eggs. Just take one or whatever it is. Like, you would think that, people would have manners like that. And I've been on a set where it's been, there has been extras taken a little bit extra, so yeah. that kind of thing, I get it.
I understand it in lieu of payment and all that sort of thing. That's what they're offering, but it's kind of a lot of the time the extras aren't needed till the afternoon, and I understand they're sitting around a while. So maybe I know some extras rock up to set and they've already had lunch or something before they get there, just off their own back, that sort of thing. So not saying everyone should do that, but that's sometimes what some of them do. And I know they've got to wait around a while, but usually we try and set up a crafty table with little snacks and that to go along to help them with that anyway. But and a lot of people here don't like being extras. I know some people that won't go on the set if they're calling for extras, and I think in a way that can be detrimental, because to me it's all about building up credits. Even if you only get an extras credit on IMDb, I'm not a big proponent of picking people off IMDb. I mean, if I'm going for a name actor, then that's what I'll do. But I look more off the streaming platforms. So for a version, a lot of the people we cast were from Tubi. They're on Tubi. They're in the horror genre, and they're starting to more and more films that come out. So if you don't really have anything anywhere that I can't see, then it's sort of, you're not going to get a main role as far as that goes. That sort of thing, because again, you need to have interest and have a possible chance of getting something back. So for me, IMDb and things like that are good to get credits, but I don't use that as a benchmark for when I'm casting actors. I don't know. What's your feeling?
And there's so many of them now. Like this. Well, my coach has said to get on to it. I'm not very. I grew up in a, where we had the stage newspaper in England, where people got jobs from the stage newspaper. So it wasn't something that I was really familiar with. And then as time's gone on, I've had to move with the times, and I get on, like I'm on Star now, and there's Altair, and there's casting networks, and there's a few different places that have got my, all my videos that I've done and things like that. I have to, that's me learning, like that is me, and taking that responsibility that I have to get onto these things, as I call it, the YouTube, and just and learn about these things. I've got a 9-year-old daughter who knows more about YouTube and putting things on, and a 13-year-old daughter, so I'm usually like, oh guys, how do I put this on here? So we as actors have to take responsibility and actually have the time to go and put our work out there, because, and I've said to my kids, no one's going to come knocking at your door and go, oh, I want you for this movie. Like, you got to make it work. You got to make it happen. You got to go out there, and even the networking night, if it wasn't for the networking night, I wouldn't be here right now having a conversation. So it's things like that. And we've got to make that effort, and we've got to jump over them anxiety or butterflies or whatever that we have and do it. Because the people that are not going to make it are the people sitting on their bums not doing anything. So you've got to get out there.
Well, they do say you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So, you just got to get out there. And I mean, even the networking nights, I don't go to a lot of them. I went to that one because I wanted to catch up with Mark, and he just wanted to have a chat, whatever. So, but I don't go to a lot because I find, although they're good, there's not when you start to get into films, you meet a lot of people in the industry, and when you go to a networking night, they're the same people. You're not actually really meeting a lot of new people that can help you in different aspects. So for me, it's good just to go catch up with people, but I tend to see the same people at screenings of films. So when I go watch a film that's been made, it's like, oh, okay, these people are here. So I don't sort of really need to go to network nights when I can catch up with them at a screening or somewhere like that. So unless there's a lot of new people coming into the screening or a networking night, or they're bringing a name in from overseas or over east, then I'll go. But most of the time, unless I really have a desire or time, then I end up going. And that's probably a problem of mine as well. But I've got to be enough people here that I can draw on if I need to get stuff done. So, but and I guess networking is good for that.
Networking.
And you get to meet new people like yourself and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But even IMDb, if you're on films, a lot of the directors and that should be giving you an IMDb credit anyway. So most of the time you can start your own IMDb page, but then all the credits build up. You don't have to add them on there. The majority of the time, the people that you're on productions for, they'll add the credits on there. So the credits do start to build up a little bit as well. Yeah. So you create the initial IMDb page, and then from there, you as you start to do productions, if they give you IMDb credits, your name will start to come up with the different credits for the different films you've been in. So then eventually, if someone wants to look up your name, they're like, oh, the person's been in this. So, you don't physically need to add those projects to it. They're supposed to be done for you. So it doesn't always happen.
So it's slightly different than the likes of Star Now and things like that.
Well, Star Now is okay, but now it's been taken over by Backstage. It seems to have dropped by the wayside a little bit, because I used to use Star Now all the time. But even then, a lot of the people on Star Now are people that I've already been using anyway. So I just go directly to them via Messenger or whatever that is. So I will be making my new film here in Perth. I'm not going to make it overseas just because there's some people I want to work with and stuff like that. I'm putting together a small crowdfunder for it, whether it works or not. But I'm hoping to film it here in October, so I will be sending out auditions to people like yourself and stuff, because there are certain roles that I think people might fit. But I will say, if you don't get a casting call, please don't hit me up. I'm only going to be sending out to people that I think will fit the role. So I don't want to be inundated with myself. What's happening? So it's just, it happens sometimes.
It happens.
And so the film is basically,
we're actors. We should understand that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I understand people want work and things like that, but the film is in the paranormal genre. So it's paranormal, supernatural. I am actually going on a paranormal investigation, my very first one, on the 28th of April at the Kalamunda Hotel, because I'm a skeptic and they want a skeptic on board to try and disprove or prove that there's actually something there. So I'm looking forward to that. And also the person, because she runs it, it'll also put some accuracy towards the film that we're doing to make sure that what we're doing is not too far off track. So exciting times.
Yeah.
But so how far is Liverpool from where you are? Where you're from in London? Yeah.
Oh, I've on. So you got Scotland, and then you got Hadrian's Wall, which separates Scotland and England. I'm like the next county underneath, so the Lake District. So we're like Carlisle. It's around.
Okay. I only ask because
that area. So Liverpool is probably 2 hours away from my hometown.
Okay.
You're going in February.
My mum's from Scotland. Yeah, 6th of February. I'll probably do the direct flight. Is it?
Yeah.
Why am I always getting films that are happening in winter? Damn it.
I don't know. It's going to be cold.
Yeah, so I'll probably get the direct flight from here to London.
Yeah.
But we'll see how we go. So do you have any projects coming up that we need to know about?
At the moment, I'm actually writing something myself. So I'm working on that kind of side of things. I've got a lot of scripts in my brain, and it's just trying to put them all out.
Yep.
And it's a bit, at the moment, it's in my head, writing it down, and it's a bit like Steel Magnolias type of thing, but an Aussie version. Mm-hmm. So a bit heartfelt, women in power type of thing. So yeah, I've got that in my head at the moment. I'm writing. I've just been teaching a lot. So trying to teach, get the money, so then I can do different workshops and I can connect and I can make and go from there.
Yeah, I think, and with writing, I'm the same. I've got all the ideas, but I can't put them into the 3 acts. So that's why I tend to usually get someone to write it for me. But I have been using ChatGPT, and on there, I typed in the synopsis for the next one I want, and it's basically given me all the character breakdown. It's even written, and so I might start doing a bit more of that, but then get a proper writer to put it all together in the proper format. But
nice.
We'll wrap it up short. We'll wrap it up shortly. Is there any advice?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's good. AI has taken over. Is there any advice you would give to anyone out there that wants to just get into acting, whether it be courses, extras, whatever? Because a lot of people say, "Oh, I can't do it," and things like that.
There's been so many times that I've wanted to give up, and and I handed in my resignation for teaching, and I was in a permanent position because I love acting and I love what I do and I love the people that I met and I loved being on set. And if you've got people behind you supporting you, which helps so much. My partner was great and just said, just hand in your resignation and go for it. And I've done a little bit of work since then in regards to acting, and not a lot, but it's what I love and it's what I was kind of made for, So my advice would be never give up. There's a role for everyone, even if that means that I'm a 60-year-old woman by the time I make it. There's roles for 60-year-old women out there. Yeah. We don't all have to look like Megan Fox and be we don't have to make it when we were a kid.
No, that's right.
There's roles for other people. So just don't give up. Money's great, and work your part-time jobs or work whatever you need to work, but don't give up. That would be my advice.
Yeah, and I think that's good advice. What you said, like, a lot of people do that, and a lot of the stuff here is unpaid as well, and so most of it happens on weekends. And unless I sort of say to people, well, you're not working on a weekend. If you want to be, why not just come in and be on a film? I said, fair enough. During the week, you got to work, and there might be some maybe a Friday night where we might want you to come in. But if you're not doing anything on a Saturday or a Sunday, and you love acting, instead of going out and unless you want to go out and socialise or spend your money, just come and be on a film set. So and a lot of people like to do that. Some people don't. That's up to them. So, but you can, and just like you said, with you,
everyone else.
Yeah. And like you're saying, with you just being on, with anyone just being on a film set, you can tell people that want to be there and people that don't, because they'll turn up, and
exactly.
And then they complain when they're not getting anything. So it's kind of like, guys, just do it. Just I guess the nicest way you can just do it, but yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this video will hopefully get you a few more roles or some more auditions. And I'll definitely send you once. I should have the first draft finalized this week. I've already got 60 pages. I'm just getting the other 20, and then I'll send some audition sides out to people. Because once you get the audition sides, it doesn't matter if the script goes through another draft. Basically the character in that's not going to change. So I could start, watching auditions. Oh, and just one more thing: do you prefer self-tape auditions or in-person auditions?
Oh, I don't mind either. I'm used to that whole turning up to audition, but I've done a lot of self-tapes, so either or.
I guess some people say one thing with the self-tape is you have to have like another reader, and I guess that's one of the harder things.
It's true.
With an in-person, there's always at least someone else there to read for you. So, but here I'm going to try and do as many in-person auditions as I can. Some, obviously, with work and things, people might have to do self-tapes, but I'll try and do as many in-person as possible. But all right, guys.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. We'll wrap it up there because Claire and I both got things to do. But Thank you for jumping on, Claire. Thank you for making
That's
yourself
all right.
available.
Take care. Have a good day. Yeah.
And hopefully I'll get to work with you soon.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be awesome. All right. Take care.